Right on. What's happening, y'all? You are now watching Juke Boys Sports Show. I'm your host, King Ralph, here with the homie. I always point the wrong direction. The homie, the homie guy. Also, my
What's good? What's good?
All the way over there, we got the homie, our special guest. We always reference him. He's our inside source. Tarrian Rodgers.
What's up? What up?
Good, G?
What's good, bro? How you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. It feels good, man. Good to be here. Good to be alive another day. You know.
Right. Live in effect. But before we get everything going, gotta send a little shout out to the sponsors. If you want to do any photo shoots, music videos, podcasts like what you're watching, if you just need help editing, posting, or got any questions, call the number on the bottom of the screen, 707 Fitboxer. And man, it's been a lot going on over the weekend. A whole grip of teams was just out here just ruining people's bracket, bro. So I gotta ask, how was your bracket?
Hey, yo, Tar, you want to go first?
I deleted the ESPN app off my phone, so that should tell you how it went. I couldn't deal with it. I was like, I couldn't deal with it. I was upset. Iowa ruined it for me. That's the one thing. It was Iowa, and then where's St. Peter's at, bro? Where the heck? That's like, isn't that the school like Will and Carlton went to? They the Peacocks. Didn't they go there?
He said Will and Carlton.
Isn't that the Peacocks on, bro? Like, did they march into victory? Like, bro, I legitimately never went to St. Peter's, and their point guard looks like Bob from Accountant for Martin. He looked like the dude that worked with Gina, bro, and I don't like that at all. And the crazy part about this is, it's like, I found out this is like damn near a community college. Like 6,000 people go there. Kentucky got busted by like random people who just randomly tried out for this. I don't know, but St. Peter's ruined my bracket. Iowa ruined my bracket. I deleted that. But shout out to North Carolina because they was nice. That's my squad. So if they win, I'm happy regardless. But my bracket's nah. I deleted that. I was like, I'm good. I don't need the heartbreak this year. I'm good.
Man, who'd you have in the championship? Who'd you have in the championship?
So I was right on Duke's side of the bracket. So I had Duke. I had Purdue, I had Iowa, and I had Arizona. But like I'm alive, but I had Iowa just completely wrecking shop. And I had Kentucky going to the Elite Eight or Final Four or whatever because the whole Coach K thing. And the Coach K thing, I told you, like that side of the bracket was lined up for Coach K. He got Michigan State and got Michigan State up out of there. Now he got Texas Tech. We're bomb night. That's going to be a whole storyline. I've already heard the storyline on ESPN already. They lined this up for Coach K. But then I never even thought about it from the side of what I was talking about. North Carolina could actually advance and actually play Coach K.
I was saying they could.
So my initial argument of Kentucky, bro, North Carolina. I never even thought about it. North Carolina. So they're trying to. I still feel like they're setting it up for Coach K. I still feel like that. I'm not going away from that prediction. I'm still picking Duke because of Coach K. But
wait, Duke to win it all? Duke to win it all?
Unfortunately, I want Arizona to win now, but I've been saying this the entire time. I think it's set up for Coach K. I really do. They wanted Coach K to win.
I can see that. And the guys, one of you guys might know, didn't Coach K either play at or didn't he go to college at University of Kentucky or something like that?
No, he went to High Point. He played for Bob Knight. That's where the Bob Knight thing came from. Texas Tech. That's where my Texas Tech argument comes from the Bob Knight standpoint. It's because of Bob Knight.
Okay. Well, my bracket, guys, I'll keep it short and sweet. I was actually doing relatively well, except that it did get busted the moment Iowa really went down. I think we all had Iowa. I had them going to the Final Four. I told you guys I actually did two brackets. So the one I showed on the show, I had Memphis making it to like the Elite Eight or something. But I did another bracket where I actually had Gonzaga going to the Final Four. So kind of hedging the bet. But I do multiple brackets. I only did two this year. So Gonzaga beat Memphis in one of my brackets. So I like won and I lost. But my teams are Arizona and UCLA, Ralph and Tar. I actually picked New Mexico State one. I picked Murray State. I picked I picked actually a lot of upsets. I ain't gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of looking kind of cool, you know. Davidson destroyed me, but that's about it. That's all I got, guys. So yeah, Arizona and UCLA are still alive. That is my championship matchup with Arizona winning. So there you go. All right.
Yeah, mine's looking still pretty straight.
Yeah.
There were some ones that I seen happening. Like I actually had Michigan going pretty far.
Yeah, I messed up on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I root for Juwan Howard just because he's from Chicago, but then like
Right.
I actually genuinely think he's a really good coach. And I seen this clip where after they beat Tennessee, he was like consoling a player. And so I was like, I seen like this dude posted and he was like, run this clip like y'all ran the other one. And so I just want to make sure people are looking at it as much as they aired that one when he was smacking the coach. And I'm not saying he right or wrong or whatnot, but because at a certain age, you got to get to a point where your mind doesn't go there. But
hey, Rob,
you do got to show the other side too. When he's a man of compassion, he actually cares for the kids. And so for me, I was always rooting for them. I don't remember because I did my bracket and forgot to send it. So like at this point, like I remember certain ones that I picked. Okay. Like I definitely didn't pick no St. Peter's. I had Loyola Chicago winning.
Same.
Not winning at all, but I had them at least getting to the second or third round.
Right.
So there was definitely some ones like I missed, like UAB. I had Illinois getting to at least to the point of playing Arizona, and that didn't happen. So there's some things that I missed, but I definitely had Gonzaga. I got Texas Tech beating Duke.
Same. Wait, no.
I got Texas Tech beating Duke. I had UCLA beating Baylor, but I had them going up against Kentucky in this round.
What about Tennessee? Do you have Tennessee?
Tennessee, I had them.
They lost.
I have them. I had Tennessee losing to Michigan, and then I had Michigan losing to Villanova, and that's
okay. Yeah.
But there were some things that happened that didn't go my way, like Ohio State winning.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I didn't see coming. I actually had Duke losing to Michigan State, and it was a good close game. I was actually really impressed. Duke actually impressed me.
They did. I'm not gonna lie. They did.
What's up, boy? Pablo?
Oh, Paulo Banchero.
Yo.
Yeah. Cold, bro. Cold.
10, 250 off the dribble. The range.
You know who's cold? That kid from Arizona, Benedict.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
His draft stock went to the moon, bro. Like that. Woo.
That's definitely one of those things where, like, I think in the bracket you get to see them more as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Where like during the season it's Arizona, it's Duke, but like I think that individualism, that like your individual talent is what can take you to the next level. People just having these crazy performances. Yeah. Like I had never heard of White Dante until he balled out during that
tournament.
During the tournament, bro. And I was just like, yo, who is Dante DiVincenzo? I don't even know if I'm saying it right.
He was pulling up from 42, Ralph. He was pulling up from 40.
Right.
He was low.
Like, yo, he definitely got a black barber. I was like,
right. but hey, yo, we got to put some respect. My last point on the bracket is got to put some respect on Penny Hardaway, because I was listening to these clowns. It was like these sports betting thing. I wasn't going to bet on the tournament, but some dude was like, they were talking about Memphis and Gonzaga. They're like, could Memphis beat Gonzaga? And this guy, he was like, because the coach from Boise State, he's going to coach circles around Penny Hardaway. Blah, blah, blah.
Bro, I'm going to be honest with you. Penny Hardaway didn't do much. It was Larry Brown, bro.
Hey, he did it. But, hey,
Penny Hardaway didn't do much. Penny Hardaway's the recruiter, and Larry Brown's the coach. Penny Hardaway's a horrible coach, bro.
With the NIT though, he beat this Boise State last year in the NIT. So you just can't automatically say they're going to lose to Boise State. So that's why I was like,
how do you make Imani Bates look bad?
But he didn't coach circles around him. They got into foul trouble.
Because of Larry Brown, bro. Larry Brown. He was walking over there. Hey, yo, Larry, what's good? What lineup should I put in?
Hey, yo,
Larry Brown was there. Larry Brown was there. It was Larry Brown.
Four of his star players they got into foul trouble by like the third quarter, though. You had like 4 players with 4 fouls. So you had to look at They could have won that game. It was close down to the wire.
Yeah.
They didn't get in foul trouble.
Right.
Jalen Duren and all that. I think Memphis actually pulls that out. I'm not saying that he's Jim Boeheim or Red Auerbach. Right. I'm just saying, like, bro, you gotta.
Yeah, like
that's Larry Brown. I'm giving up. I think what Penny's the recruiter, and they're not gonna go there if Larry Brown's their coach. That's true. Larry Brown is their coach.
Hey, I heard Larry Brown in the huddle, though, bro. Man, that dude don't sound very inspiring, bro. He sound old, but anyway.
Yeah, he's not old, but it's like it's like his mental capacity. And Penny just delegating, right? Yeah. But I think he's the coach. I legitimately think Larry Brown's the coach. I think Penny is just like he's like the school's mascot. He went there. He's popular. Players know who he is. He was the high school basketball coach of the year. But he's not doing much coaching, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I felt like every player, like every Memphis player that played under Penny was like a top guy. Like, you had that guy from the Raptors. I forgot his name, but the guy from the Raptors.
Boucher?
Huh?
Was it Boucher?
No. Precious Achiuwa. Precious Achiuwa was like the number 2, number 3 player coming out. Yeah. And then he went to Memphis and his draft stock plummeted. Like, he should have been a top 5 pick. Yeah. Like, it's just not by design. It's like it was unfortunate what happened to Wiseman, but all these players that like Penny is stacking, you would expect them to be like Calipari. You would expect them to be like this, and he's just not. He's just decent. And his conference isn't hard. So it's like Conference USA, you should be murdering people, and you're just not. Yep. I don't think he's a good coach at all. I really don't. I just think that he's popular.
I appreciate the honesty. I'm just saying.
Because like I have been following him. He hasn't really been coaching that long. So do you think he can become a better coach?
I think he can become a better coach, and he was smart for having Larry Brown. But I'm not giving him much like credit. He's a good recruiter. He's a recruiter and not a coach. Like, because, like, I'm a North Carolina fan. Hubert Davis was the recruiter and he was the coach. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because the players, they didn't really like Roy Williams that much because Roy Williams was so old. So it was like they just got the guy who's the recruiter and the coach in there, basically. So you can see the difference between a recruiter and a coach. Dude is just a recruiter. He's not much of a coach.
That's fair.
All right. That's facts. One last thing before y'all go. Not before y'all go, but before we go to the next one. Are y'all sticking with is who y'all picked to win still in it? I don't know if you talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's big for Duke to win, but I'm still picking Arizona.
I'm sticking with Gonzaga. I think it's going to be the year for them.
I thought that like the last 15 years, but no, I'm playing.
Right. Hey. But
moving
on. Free agent winners and losers. I've been really, really waiting to talk about this one.
You want to set it off?
Nah, I'm gonna let you go first, bro, man.
Okay, I'll go first. All right.
You already know where I'm gonna go with mine.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get this one out the way because I wasn't really sure if I really wanted to talk about my team because I feel like we could do more. But you can still be a winner and still need to do more, right? So I'm gonna go with my team only because for the first time, the Baltimore Ravens, for you guys who don't know who that is, I talk about them almost every other show, it seems like. But they got a top 5 safety in Marcus Williams. Now, some people will be like, hey, isn't that the dude from the Minneapolis Miracle? Yeah, the dude's actually nice now. So you actually grow up one day in life, right? He's been one of the best safeties over the last 5 seasons, 15 interceptions. This dude can track the ball 40-plus yards, come from one area of the field all the way to the other area of the field, break up the play, get an interception. It was a huge signing for the Baltimore Ravens because they normally don't go out and spend money on guys from other teams like that. They like to do it on players of their own ilk. And when you have guys like Honey Badger out there and some other, safeties, to get somebody who's 4 years younger than Honey Badger, who has a level of production, who's at an elite level, and that you can implement in that backfield, with a Marcus Peters, who's a gambler. He's going to allow Marcus Peters to come back and gamble. Marlon Humphrey, who likes to punch the ball out, right? And you wanted someone who can get takeaways, is what Eric DaCosta, our GM, said. He's like, I absolutely want to get takeaways in that defense, because we were playing with guys off the street last year, right? That's huge. If you look at the Baltimore Ravens' history of safeties and cornerbacks and all that, we had an Eric Weddle. We had a Rod Woodson. We had an Ed Reed. We had an Earl Thomas. Obviously, Earl Thomas didn't work out because of the off-the-field issues, but they have a litany of history of having elite safety at the safety position. It's been amazing. So he adds into that lineage of safeties. He's not Ed Reed, but this dude can be amazing for our defense. Then we address the right tackle position with Alejandro Villanueva retiring. He needs to retire. He was an inside man. He was a double agent. He was sucked. I never wanted him. I'll say again, he sucked. And we got Morgan Moses, right tackle from the New York Jets. Not really like the elite, but he fulfills that need. And we're on the Jets. Obviously, you're playing with other poor, players on that line, but he was able to stand out. And then we recently brought back Michael Pierce, who got released from the Vikings. And he can be a run stuffer for us. He was there before, so he clogs that middle. Had we got Zadarius Thomas, they would be a lot higher up, I think, on a lot of NFL analyst lists. Because, you saw like Ryan Clark and others talk about Zadarius Thomas. I know him because he was actually on our defense anyway. And we would have really been looking good. And then for another winner, I got the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not going to name all the players they got. Just they addressed that offensive line. Obviously, that's all Joe Burrow needed was the offensive line. And then for a loser, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons, man. A team with no quarterback is a team with nothing. So that's pretty much all I got, bro. Keep it moving.
and for me, man, I think that the AFC West as a whole is a winner, man. Just not even just to focus on my team. When you start thinking about this, you start off everything with the Broncos getting Russell Wilson. And I know that's not one of those things. That's a free agent thing, but he could have went anywhere. So at a certain point, you were able to talk him to coming to you. Then stealing away a vital piece of Dallas Cowboys defense is another thing that goes untalked about. But then after that, the moves that the Chargers made, I remember getting text messages saying like, "Oh man, the Raiders is about to go to the bottom of the division," and I'm like, for real? Like, come on, man. Like at the end of the day, you still gotta go play football, and we just beat them to get to the playoffs. So it's like they've always had more talent than us. Their coaching is just awful, and so like it's not nothing new. And so then they get JC, and I'm like, yo, bros is nice, and he's a big corner. So it's like at the end of the day, like the other teams are making moves. The Chiefs were already destroying us every year anyway. So it's like we at a certain point we got to be able to catch them. That's who we're chasing anyway. And so then we were able to get Chandler Jones. And then when the Devontae Adams came across my Apple Watch while I was at work, I was like, yo, we in there because I feel like. Almost, bro. I was in the back at work making potato salad. Bro. I took my gloves off and just started running through the kitchen talking about woo. Get some cold cuts. And so like for me, bro, it's just like everything that you were able to do, bro. Like it's like I'm looking at people's numbers and even the numbers over the last few years. Like Chandler Jones and Khalil Mack are both, one's 31 and the other one is 32. But Chandler Jones, I don't think that he gets enough credit as far as like an all-time great that he is, because he has 108 sacks, 33 forced fumbles, and 118 tackles for loss. And it's like last season, he had 11 sacks, 8 hurries, and he played 85% of the snaps. So it's like, in order to put someone on one side of the if you already got Max Crosby on one side, you throw him on the other. Now, if we could just get someone to solidify that middle, that's what we talk about. You've done good, but you can do a little you can still do a little bit more just to get someone up that middle that can get that push up the middle to where the quarterback isn't, all right, we're going to flank him from the outside, but then he can step up. So as long as you got someone to stuff that middle part, then I think that'll be whether or not.
They did. The dude from the Bears.
He's
nice. Yeah, he has 6.5. Nah, he's 20. His name is slipping from me, but I know who he is.
It's the young dude. It's not Akeem Hicks. It was the dude that took over for him.
Yeah, he's nice as hell, bro. Like,
they play on the edge. They play on the edge.
He had like 5.5 sacks last year in the middle.
Oh, in the middle.
No, last year. He averages about since he's been in the league. He's averaged like 5.5 sacks per year.
So that's good though. If it comes from
the defensive tackle, yeah.
Right.
They actually need a run stuffer now, though.
Right. And so and then to get to trade Unique Ngakoue, I finally be able to say his name. He's no longer on our team. But then we trade. But to be able to trade him and get a vital piece on defense back is once I seen that, I was like, oh snap! I had to go look up who it was to keep it a buck. But just seeing that, I was just like, he's a quality starting corner, and I'm cool with that. So I think overall, I would say our grade should be a little better.
Right.
For the overall pieces, but as far as two big splashes, I'd probably say the Chargers for the two that they got. But as far as the overall piece, I say we won out of our division. My loser, I feel like it got to go to the Cowboys.
I had them down.
Because you trade Amari, and then your piece that you feel like is why you should trade Amari is coming off of an ACL injury or a knee injury. Then you lose Cedric Wilson. Then on top of that, you go and you lose you like I mentioned earlier, you lose Gregory, you cut Collins. So it's like I don't really know. And then you still got the bum himself, Mike McCarthy, as your head coach. So it's like I don't really know where you're going from here, Jerry Jones. Like I feel like you took a step back. Maybe it's one of them take 2 steps back to jump 5 steps ahead. Because they hit with Micah Parsons, but I don't think that really was like a stretch. Micah Parsons should never been there in the first place.
Right.
So like for him to fall all the way to what was it, like the 13th or 14th pick or something like that, for him to fall that far, you're not really like, I'm not gonna give you all this credit because you were the one that drafted him. Like he should have never even been there in the first place.
Well, he's actually kind of the reason why they're not going to win the Super Bowl because their best player is him. And as great as he is, he ain't the quarterback and he ain't the coach. So there you go.
Right.
And he doesn't play Aaron Donald's position to affect the game that way. So, you know.
Right. And so, Tar.
What's up?
You're up, bro.
Okay, so
who's your winner? Who your winner?
So my biggest winners were the AFC West, like you said, but I have an individual in the AFC West I'm going to say, but Tampa Bay, I got to mention what they did too. The fact Tom Brady's coming back, that's a win. Your division got weaker, which is a win. But then you guys started adding more talent because Tom Brady was coming back. Because if Tom Brady didn't come back, Leonard Fournette's not re-signing. Chris Godwin was definitely not re-signing. So a lot of the guys that you got to keep, you get to keep, and you get to find your quarterback of the future while you're, while you're trying to win now. So that's a win automatically. And they added Logan Ryan on defense, which Logan Ryan's been a ball hawk as a safety. So, that's been their biggest issue over the past couple of years was their secondary. And they got a guy like Logan Ryan who's a consistent veteran. But and the Browns too. You gotta talk about the Deshaun Watson move. That was a huge move as well. Yeah. Getting rid of Baker Mayfield. So it's just I don't know, man. Bro, so I mean that's a win right there, but
slow clap.
But my biggest win of the offseason to me is Josh McDaniels. Not the Raiders, but Josh McDaniels. Because the reason why I say just Josh McDaniels is the simple fact that when you go into a new situation and as a new coach, he ran into his first stint in Denver, right? He came in, he got rid of the entire team basically. He came in, he got rid of the quarterback. The following year, he got rid of Brandon Marshall. And he kind of got that mindset of he's like egotistical or like he's arrogant, right? And when John Gruden first took over the Raiders, what did he do? He got rid of Khalil Mack. He got rid of too many of the stars, right? He came in, and not only did he not get rid of anybody, but he started restructuring contracts. He started removing contracts. He kept Max Crosby, right? So he's not getting rid of his own talent, but then he started acquiring more talent, right? The question was Derek Carr. They got to get rid of Derek Carr. They got to get rid of Derek Carr. No, they're going to keep Derek Carr. And not only did they keep Derek Carr, but they're going to get his best friend, right, to add. So he's adding to an already stacked offense. So he goes to a team with Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, Brian Edwards, Darren Waller. You got Fabian Foster Moreau. So he's going to a situation where he stacked it and a team that was already made, right? And he didn't go and try to make wholesale changes like a lot of coaches do. He came in and he stuck with the formula and did what he had to do. So to me, he's the biggest winner for that, is not going in there trying to make wholesale changes. You saw that there was a playoff team and you added to it. It would have been so easy, as a lot of Patriots coaches do. They go in and add a bunch of Patriots players that don't fit and the team sucks. Look at Matt Patricia, right? Matt Patricia did it like they all did it. He did it the first time. So he learned from his first time of being a head coach. He learned from that. So he added that, and he arguably had the best offseason of any team. My biggest losers was the Jacksonville Jaguars. They signed the most players, but they were the biggest losers because of who they signed, right? They signed $220 million worth of averageness, bro. Like, for real. Like, Christian, I love Christian. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Christian Kirk. We actually went to high school with his sister, so it's like there's no beef here. But for him to be the third highest paid wide receiver in football is crazy, right? So you overpaid Christian Kirk. You overpaid a backup linebacker from the Falcons. You overpaid a big nose tackle from the Jets. You overpaid a lot of average people. They gave Zay Jones $30 million. We're Raiders fans. Zay Jones worth $30 million. He can't break separation. No. That's horrible. No. And all the people who always talk about Derek Carr gets average receivers paid. Got Nelson Aguilar paid. He got Zay Jones paid. He got Jarrett Cook paid. He gets a lot of average people paid. So it's like for people 100%. To be like, oh, he gets people paid, bro. Like, Zay Jones is going to absolutely do nothing with the Jaguars because he's absolutely did nothing before Derek Carr. So what makes you think he's a number one receiver? You're paying him number one receiver money. So Jaguars, you didn't make the playoffs before. You're probably not going to make the playoffs this year because you didn't get better in any way. And then you cut your best player, Mouse Jack. So it's like you cut Mouse Jack to add average. So it's like you just got average all around. So they had my worst offseason by far. And Aaron Rodgers to me he got paid, but then who are you replacing people with, right? So it's like I don't see on the grand scheme of things how you could replace his production because you could add other people, but there's no plan right now. So it's like you're kind of at the age. Yeah, you're kind of at the age right now where you're like, where do I go from here? Because you want to go to the Super Bowl, but it's like, where do I go? You know, so it becomes less murkier. You know, now with the Bucks coming back and he's getting better, so it's like the window of opportunity is kind of closing for the Packers. So where do you go from here? So,
I got a random question because I didn't realize that Devontae Adams had these numbers. He has 669 receptions, over 8,000 yards, and 73 touchdowns. Yeah. Now, when you go and you look at some of like the top 5 receivers of all time, and you look at their numbers, where do you see Devontae Adams now that he could possibly finish his career with Derek Carr? Where do you see him ranking? And when it's all said and done, he hangs up his cleats. How nice do you think what is it? Does his legacy go up from here, or do you think he stays on par?
I think he goes up, actually, in my opinion.
It could definitely go up.
Only reason why I say up, guys, is because your division, you need to throw the football in that division.
Yeah.
Because, like, as great as your team is, I'm not saying your defense is trash or anything like that, but people are going to want to engage in shootouts with you guys. Russell Wilson, he's going to engage in a shootout. Justin Herbert? Yeah, Justin Herbert. He looks like young John Elway. Engage in a shootout.
It's a shootout every time we play them.
You feel me? Like, I'm like, bro, man, this dude is dicing y'all up in the fourth quarter. And then what's the other person? Oh, yeah, Mahomes. I keep saying the other person. My bad. No beef there, right? Brave Chiefs fans. So, I mean, as long as you're in the AFC West, man, I mean, the quarterback-driven league, you know, that's my short spiel on it. But, yeah, he could go off. You got to
I think he could definitely go off, right? But I real quick want to say, like, I thought J.C. Jackson was a very overrated signing. I'm going to tell you why I think it's a very overrated signing, right? Was because when Bill Belichick doesn't want a cornerback, there's a reason why Bill Belichick doesn't want a cornerback. You look at Logan Ryan. You look at he didn't re-sign Darrell Revis. He didn't re-sign Aqib Talib. He didn't re-sign a lot of cornerbacks. And when they went to the next team, they got burnt. They got cooked. Malcolm Butler. The Titans signed Malcolm Butler all that money, and he did nothing with the Titans, right? So for me, for the Raiders to not want him, and then for our counteractive move to get Devontae, that tells me Josh already knows how to beat him.
Yeah.
Right. So if J.C. Jackson's the best corner in the AFC West, oh my God, it's cooked because he knows how to beat him already, right?
Hey,
so
yeah.
So that's where, in my opinion, I think like having a coach that knows how to execute the X's and O's and get him correctly open. I thought before, like we'll learn how good of a coach that Floor really was, but a lot of it was just because he had a connection with Aaron Rodgers. But now he's scheming to get open because he didn't really have coaches in his career that really schemed him how to do stuff. He was just doing it off of pure ability. Now he's going to a coach that ultimately knows how to coach offense. So we might see the best of him, or we might see him decline. But I do think it's going to be the best.
Hey, we got to give a special shout out. Last part of this topic, special shout out to Von Strip Sack Miller for raising the bar on outside linebacker salaries, bro. That dude's a winner alone. His bank account, you win a ring and you get a contract. So that's all I got to say.
Facts. And then just one last thing for Chargers fans to think about is just because your numbers say one thing doesn't reflect talent level to a certain degree. Like we always talk about context.
Yeah.
So over the last 2 years, J.C. Jackson has 17 interceptions, 37 pass deflections, 98 tackles. But when you play on the other side of someone, it's one of those things. We're not gonna throw at Jalen Ramsey, but we're gonna throw at you because I don't know who you are.
Right.
So it's like when you play on the opposite side of someone. I know last year he didn't play with Stephon Gilmore, but the year before that and the year before that. It's like you're going to get opportunities that other people are not. So just because you have 9 or 8 interceptions in a year,
also too,
I'm going to all of a sudden throw.
Bill green dots him. You know what the green dot is? Where he's the one in the headset. So Bill's talking to him and telling him where to be.
Right.
True. I don't trust the Chargers coach. To me is I don't think he's good at all. So the green dot is probably going to go on Khalil Mack or somebody that understands the defense. I don't think it's going to go on him. So I think it's going to be a lot different when you're green dotted. Your coach is telling you, hey, yo, if you play 5 yards outside, you got to be right there. Boom. Right. I don't think he's going to be green dotted this year. So that's where I'm like, who'll see? Because all those quarterbacks I mentioned before, guess what? We're green dotted.
True.
Bill was telling me where to be. So that's where I'm like, if Bill don't want you, there's a reason Bill doesn't want you. And the next team down the line was the Raiders, who has the same coaching staff, didn't want him either.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at the history of their cornerbacks at free agency, and none of them work. So
True. Well, on to the next topic. This good old NBA power rankings. We talked about it a little bit off camera, but NBA power rankings. We got about a little over 15 minutes to chop it up. However y'all want to do. I normally go 10-1. But
all right,
since there's 3 of us, we're gonna throw off 3 names, 3 teams at a time.
All right, so
go crazy, one of y'all, bro.
Huh?
I said, one of y'all go crazy.
All right, yeah. So I just want to preface my comments. I was telling Ralph before the show. These are our final NBA power rankings. So in short, these are actually the 10 best teams to me right now, currently going into the playoffs. Some of these teams may surprise near the bottom, but it's only because this is where I kind of feel like it's going to all finish up. You know what I'm saying? Because I can see teams get eliminated for certain reasons. But number 10, I have the Dallas Mavericks. Congratulations. You guys are in my power rankings. Luka Doncic, obviously, you know what he can do. Kawhi Leonard and PG still being out, even if they come back. They didn't really get enough time to gear up and rev up. But this is the guy who pushed the Clippers 2 years in a row to 7 games. But we're looking at them and the current day, the addition of Spencer Dinwiddie, he provides another shot creator and slasher option for Luka Doncic. He's had 3 game winning shots recently. And so I believe the Dallas Mavericks, number 10, is a perfect spot for them. Then I actually have the second seed in the East is actually 9th in my power rankings, and that is the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't like how James Harden is ducking the heat. Quite frankly, I really don't like this team anymore. I didn't really like them to begin with, but I'm like, bro, man, James Harden, I know what he is and what he isn't in the playoffs. Joel Embiid, he's a great talent, but having to rely on James Harden, who is unreliable, in the playoffs is not good. Doc Rivers, man of integrity, cool, but I need a man who can put some X's and O's together and make adjustments come playoff time. So yeah, all right. And then number 8, my third little team right here. I actually have right now, only because of injuries, Ralph. Only because of injuries. I have the Chicago Bulls at 8 right now, but once they get healthy, I believe they'll catapult right now. So I'm looking at them in terms of their current state. I believe that Caruso, obviously Patrick Williams finally just came back. Lonzo Ball. Once those guys get there, their defense exponentially goes up. Like their team plays good.
Right,
they have
right.
guys of that ilk and stuff like that. But yeah, the Chicago Bulls, the East is just so deep right now. And I have a couple of teams ahead of the Bulls who I think would actually make a deeper run than them. So yeah. All right. Anybody want to go after me?
Or go crazy.
That's your. So am I finishing your top 10 or like am I?
Oh no, we're doing 3
3.
So you do your 10, 9.
Okay, I got you. Okay,
Yeah,
so
10,
right now, as of right now, my number 10 is the Timberwolves. And the reason why the Timberwolves, because they're surging, right? They're Karl Anthony Towns, oh my God, right? He's having a surgical month. And shout out to him. You love to see it. He's over there bashing Stephen A. Smith. So that's always a good thing. But he's talking trash to the haters, you know what I'm saying? And he's a guy that's always had potential, but now he's finally got a team around him. Now he's realizing how good they can be. I don't even think they know how good they are yet. So I like the Timberwolves. Yeah, I like the Timberwolves right now. And my number 8 or number 9 is the Nuggets. The Nuggets, again, they're talent, but injuries, once they get, they're talking about, getting Jamal Murray back pretty soon, but I don't know how soon he's coming back. Also, Michael Porter, we don't know how soon he's coming back, but if they could get, their guys back, the Nuggets, you always got to consider the Nuggets because of their talent, but it's just not looking good right now. But they're still able to find ways to win without, their talent. And then I'm going the Mavericks, for all the reasons that Kai said. Like I love the Mavericks for all the reasons that the Kai said. So I'm going Mavericks. Yep.
All right, Ralph.
And then for me, man, I got the Bulls at 10. For every reason that, I got them at 10, man. Just because, like,
no, I was like, I thought you might have them be higher too. Okay.
Yeah, I got them at 10, man. Just because, like, when you get to a point of like when you've had 5-game losing streaks, you look up right now. Before we beat the Raptors, we had like a 3-game losing streak. So it's like when you've lost like 8 of the last 10 games, it's like I can't throw you above people who are playing better right now, regardless of your team being better, the situation or whatnot. I got to look at you at what you're at right now. You got Caruso, but you still don't have Lonzo. Mm-hmm. So it's like, although the defense will get better, I think that Lonzo as the point guard and the clear-cut starting point guard, the one that's when he was running the team, the offense was very efficient, getting players the ball in the spots that they need to get the rock in, and while also playing passing lanes in the defense. So when we get those all 3 back, it's going to make all 3 levels of our defense go better, just go crazy. And so except for like, I probably say like rim protection, because Pat is not a rim protector, but he's a big body that can guard through 4. And so I think with that, it's that's why I'm at 10. Just they're not playing well right now, but they were playing well when they had everybody.
Everybody, yeah. They got 9. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you now. Yeah.
All right, cool. And so at 9, I got the Utah Jazz.
The Jazz.
This is every year, man. They're always going to be in the mix. Every year they're going to be in the mix, but I just don't see them going that far within the mix.
Yeah.
I think that Donovan Mitchell gives you a shot on any given night. He can go crazy. But as far as like the rest of the team, certain injuries, I just don't really. They're good, but I just don't see them as one of the better teams.
It's Rudy Gobert in the playoffs. People are going to single him out on high screen and roll and dunk on him.
Exactly. And then they're going to go to work, yo.
Yep, exactly. High screen and roll.
Every year, bro. Every year, bro. And so after that, I got the so that's my 9, and then at 8, I got the Timberwolves playing extremely well. I think that they're a nightmare for any team. It's especially when you got young talent, like young legs, crazy athleticism, and a certain heart to not back down from anybody. I think that them getting Anthony Edwards has given them a certain amount of toughness. Even because Cat always had that label of being soft.
Right.
So for him to be now calling LeBron out his name and talking all types of stuff when Russ shooting air balls, looking up in the crowd like, bro, what you shooting at? Like, I think that switching mentality is really what made Jimmy Butler so important to that team. Now you get like an Anthony Edwards who's way more athletic than Jimmy Butler is, but he still got that same I'm a dog mentality. So I think them at 8, and so I got Bulls 10, Jazz 9, T-Wolves at 8. And then after that, throw off your 4.
Okay, cool. All right, so number 7, I have the Brooklyn Nets. This is probably one of the most talked about teams here. The Brooklyn Nets, we all love their talent of KD, of Kyrie. I believe this is going to be very interesting because I think what we're going to see, and me and Ralph, we talked about it, and keep it short, the Miami Heat, as good as they are, they have chemistry, continuity, coaching, defensive identity. They have three-point snipers, all that, right? That's nice. But in the playoffs, in a 7-game series, can you beat KD and Kyrie 4 games in a row? And they're only going to have an off game maybe once or twice, right? That's a team that could actually knock off as an 8 seed, upset a 1 seed. So I have them there, but Ben Simmons may never come back. So that hurts them in defending a Jimmy Butler. His absence hurt them in going up against a Jason Tatum. So they have a lot of unreliability in guys, either due to the vaccine mandate, unfortunately, Kyrie Irving, or injuries that are going to cause them some concern. And then we still don't trust Steve Nash as a coach. So I have the Brooklyn Nets at the 7. But don't be surprised, I truly mean this, if they do knock off the 1 seed. And this is at number 7. I have them. They can still knock off the 1 seed. Then number 6, I have Boston Celtics. I'll continue to say this is the dark horse that's not a dark horse in the Eastern Conference. They're the best defensive team in the league. They have Jason Tatum seeming to take another leap as a scorer, as a playmaker. Jaylen Brown playing as confident. Marcus Smart, great defense. Al Horford's doing some things. I like where they're at right now. They really turned their season around. And then we get to number 5. And once we get from 5 up, these are really what I consider the 5 best teams in the NBA. I got the Golden State Warriors.
The crop.
Yeah, the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop. I got the Golden State Warriors. They could have been higher on this list, but I think number 5 is perfectly fine because we got to look at what are you at now and how you're moving into the playoffs. Obviously, Klay Thompson coming back, guys, caused some issues on that bench. Guys trying to re-get their roles, reconfigure their roles. But it's like this. James Wiseman, he's a figment of my imagination right now, with no disrespect to James Wiseman. I keep hearing about Wiseman. I'm not seeing Wiseman. I'm seeing him in the G League perform well. Oh, he has knee soreness. Draymond Green, we know what Draymond Green is. Oh, I have a herniated disc. Steph Curry, oh, I injured my foot or whatever. So now the 3 guys that you're banking on more than Klay Thompson, actually, you're banking on all 3 of those guys, and one who's never even played a regular season game this year, are all hurt. Oh, come on. Nah. You know what I'm saying? So right now I got the Golden State Warriors at 5. Keep it rolling, Tar, with your 7 through 5 or whatever.
Yeah, so I would say that my next inflate, looking at it, is the Bulls.
Okay.
I wanted them higher, but the injury concerns, you know what I'm saying? So it's just hard to figure out a nice place. It's because to me, like how I kind of chose mine is often like the Nuggets, for example. Like the Nuggets, they're 6-4 in their last 10 games, but if they had, who they would normally have, they would be a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing better with half of their guys, and some teams are playing with their whole roster. So just the potential of the Bulls puts them, where they should be at. I would kind of say next.
Okay.
I like the Jazz, right? As my next up and coming team. The Jazz is always going to be there. They're one of the best regular season defensive teams, but too bad it doesn't always carry over in the playoffs. Doesn't always carry over. But the Jazz, if you put Rudy Gobert in certain situations, we already know what it is with the Jazz, right? We know who they are, we know what they are. But off of potential alone and off of what they are or what they should be, they're there. My next, again, Warriors, and it's hard because I picked the Warriors to win NBA Finals, but again, all the injuries that they have, and they're just, so it's just off that alone, like they could be higher, but they are where they are right now based off injuries. But if they get healthy, who knows where they're gonna end up? So those are my my ones. So on you, Ralph.
And then so at my 7, I got, let's get back in though. At 7, I got the good old. Was it Mavericks?
Good old.
Was I going Mavericks or going? No, I'm gonna go Warriors. Warriors for every reason that you said that everybody mentioned. Injuries. It's like at the end of the day, if they get enough pieces back, I still feel like they got enough to make a strong run. But as far as once they match up against the creme, is I don't know if they got enough to get stops. While also because they're so streaky that they can go off on a crazy run. But it's like if they don't get stops, none of that streak matters.
Right.
And so that's why I got them at 7. I got the Sixers at 6. Is Joel Embiid, the way that he's been playing, if they can get to a point where they play through Embiid, then it would be such a change on defense. But it's like with James Harden being 32 years old, he ain't never played off ball. So it's like, is he ever going to? So that's why I just don't see them winning a championship unless he's willing to sacrifice. Doc Rivers gonna really have to go to him and be like, bro, we're gonna have to run through the big man because he doesn't have it anymore to where he could just take on a whole defense by himself.
Yeah.
But Joel Embiid, who's stopping Joel Embiid?
Nobody.
I've seen him kill double teams. I've seen him kill double teams.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you got an aggressive Joel Embiid, you play through him. But we'll see what happens as far as that. And then at 5, I got the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned them before. Many power rankings leading up to this, and I bring up the fact that they're playing defense now.
Yes.
Jason Kidd has them playing defense at a high rate.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive efficiency has been like top 6, top 5, top 6 in the league since December. Luka Doncic can take over any game. I think the addition of a Spencer Dinwiddie is he's one of those players that he's so good, but I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. Being a 6'5" lanky point guard that can play all the way up to the 3. Hit a game winner against my Bulls. So like I just think like he's the one that's going to take them to that next level. Whether or not I think that it boils down to how well he plays on them getting to the second round.
Okay.
And then so that's my 5, and at 4 I got Boston. Boston is playing amazing defense. They've been playing really good since the trade deadline. I think some of those additions worked in their favor. It's like perfectly is exactly what they needed in order to. I still don't know if they have what it takes to get to that next level where it's some teams that I'm going to mention coming up. I don't know if they're in that echelon yet.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got Tatum who can go off for 50, and then you got Jaylen Brown who can go off for 30 or 40 any night, and they play tough defense, it's gonna be a hard pull for anybody that goes in the league. And then at this point, I want y'all to
right
go
off
off on last three.
Okay.
3.
So I guess I missed my 4, but my 4 was Miami Heat. So all the reasons I mentioned earlier, obviously. I think they peaked right now. Number 3, I had the next goon team, the Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant, taking it straight to people's chest. Desmond Baines has really emerged as another scoring option for them. Obviously, get Dylan Brooks back, etc. Then number 2, I had the Milwaukee Bucks. They got their first win in Utah for their first time, guys, since 2002. We was busy bumping DMX and Ja Rule back then, man. So to do something that's crazy. In Utah, 2002. Even Giannis was joking about it. So, and then also they got Brook Lopez back, and he was playing in that game. So you get Brook Lopez back. You're getting Pat Connaughton back. You have 3 closers, guys that can close, and a Drew Holiday. Chris Middleton's been closing. Giannis has been closing. If he gets into foul trouble, he's like, how can I affect the team? I can play make, I can defend, I can rebound. This team, the chemistry and continuity right now is amazing. Giannis is going up against LeBron James and Embiid for the scoring title. His scoring since January has increased every single month. I mean, this is getting scary right now. The team is pretty much clicking on all cylinders. But then number 1, I have to put them here. They came out with revenge on their minds, like the 2014 Spurs. They've won 5 straight games. They have not missed a beat. It is the Phoenix Suns. We have to give them the respect. I expect them to be in the NBA Finals. They have the size against Memphis. They have the size against the Golden State Warriors. DeAndre Ayton has added that mid-range little jump shot and post hook to his game. They have so much depth there. They got Aaron Holiday. I mean, I could talk an hour about it, but I'm not. The Phoenix Suns, they're going to be there at the end, and I believe that they have revenge on their mind for a rematch. So those are my 2 teams, guys, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns.
Okay, we have a trade on the board for me because I played this segment completely wrong. I'm taking the Nuggets out. Yeah, I'm taking the Nuggets out. I'm replacing the Nuggets. I'm gonna replace them with the Heat, right?
Miami.
I'm replacing them with Miami. There's not really no order, but I'm just gonna replace them with Miami just for the simple fact that Miami, they're number 1 team in the East. Great defensive team. They're any team that Jimmy Butler is on, and you're getting certain guys back like Iguodala. Not Iguodala. Why did I say Iguodala? You're getting certain guys back like Oladipo.
Oladipo. Yeah,
Oladipo. Why do I say? You're getting certain guys back. You could spread. You could play defense against anybody. We've seen in the past. Like they've given the Bucks and Giannis pure hell. With their zone defense.
Yep.
They got guys that can spread it out and knock him down. They got my boy from UNR dunking on people, the Martin twin. So I just like the way that they're built overall. So they're up there. I would theoretically have them in there, but since I kind of messed it up already, I'm just putting them in there. My next team is the Boston Celtics. They've won 9. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games. You guys already kind of mentioned it. Their defense, the Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are finally playing with each other, right? And that's something that you like to see. So a lot of their additions that they made have been key. You got to give it up to Igdope and Brad Stevens for building the team. So I think they're gonna have a better chance than they have in the last couple years. The Grizzlies, love the Grizzlies. The young Grizzlies are amazing. They play fast, they play quick. They're another team that don't realize how good they are yet. Yeah. And once they figure out how good they are, they're going to be insane. And I like the Suns. Again, Kai mentioned it. The one thing about the Suns is once you get Chris Paul back, it's going to be amazing. But I think the MVP for the Suns so far since losing Chris Paul has been Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne has quietly done it. He's quietly come in and he's done things that Chris Paul would do. And they haven't really felt the loss of Chris Paul like that. You would imagine that they were, like how the Warriors aren't really responding very well with injuries. The Suns have responded very, very well with injuries. They've been playing with what they have, and their depth is crazy, and they're an example of why depth is crazy. And I also want to give a shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks too. I didn't put them on my list because, like I said, I kind of messed up. But I would also put the Milwaukee Bucks on there, because they're defending champs. They're probably the most disrespected defending champs that there's been. They're 8-2 their last 10 games. So these are. I kind of lumped everything together, but those to me are like the top 10.
All right.
Yeah, and for me, man, I pretty much got the same. I got the same 4 as Kai. I would put the Heat at 4. I would put the Heat at 4. But like we talked about going into it off camera, at the end of the day, I don't know how far they can go because you don't have someone that in the play. The reason why I let certain teams rock, even though I talk so highly about the Nets over the last 2 years, and some people say, well, they don't really have a team. Regardless of all of that, when all else fails, I'm gonna take the Nets over the Heat just for the simple fact that who can you put on to stop KD and Kyrie? Now on your end, I can game plan for you, and it doesn't matter. Like once you go out of a certain game plan, it's like you don't play well, or it's like regardless of the game plan, regardless of who I put you on an island, put KD on the island with anybody. At a certain point, KD's gonna get that bucket. Kyrie's gonna get that bucket. Where Jimmy has showed he can do it, but you can definitely see that it takes a toll on him.
Right.
Especially like, and it's, and you can say that like, all right, well, KD showed that he was tired, but he did it for like 5 games. Where Jimmy was asked to do it for like 2 or 3 games, and you see him by that second or third game, he leaning all over the table. You can just see he's obviously tired.
Yeah.
And so that's where like I don't know how far they can go as a team because I don't think that the team is so deep like that. I think that they play really good team defense. They got shooters. They have specialists that do their jobs very well to where the team is really good. But when it all boils down and you got to get that bucket and we going outside of what our game plan is, I don't know how far they can go with that. So they got that. I got the Grizzlies at 3. They have that team. They have the camaraderie. They got specialists, but they also got John Morant and Jaren Jackson that are just mismatches against whoever you throw out there. Like Jaren Jackson he got the skills of a big 3, but he's playing 4 and 5 on certain nights.
And isn't he averaging like 2 steals or 2 blocks or something? I didn't mean to cut you. I was just thinking about it. He's averaging something like that. Yeah,
something like that. Like he's got good feet, lanky, long rim protector. But then you got Steven Adams picking people up, carrying them down the court. You got Dylan Brooks and Desmond Bane. They not backing down from nobody. And so it's like when that's your 5, your core. Shoot, I'll run through a wall with them too. And so it's like that's why. And then when you got John Morant going chest to chest, pause if needed. With the bang out, it's like, dog, I ain't seen nobody do that in a good minute. And so
you believe in Ja.
Exactly. And so then you got the Milwaukee Bucks, like everything that you guys have noticed and mentioned, is I think they're very extremely disrespected. I have my reservations when it comes to Giannis in particular, but that team as a whole, like if Chris Middleton is going to play like how Chris Middleton played last year, which I think was the real key to how far they were able to go. And then Drew Holiday and then the rest of that team, the role players played really, really well. And then the Suns, for every reason, like they've played without Devin Booker. They've played without Chris Paul. They've played without DeAndre Ayton. And they're still I don't think they've gone less than like 3rd in the NBA period in record. So like,
maybe even, you're right. Less than 2nd, maybe.
Nope.
Right. And so through all of that, that's why I got them at 1.
And Cam Johnson. Johnson too.
Right. And so, but for the sake of time, we got to get out of here, guys. It was a pleasure. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you check us out on IG, J.U.K. Sports Show. Make sure you check out the YouTube and Facebook page, the He Say, She Say, all one word channel. Check me out on TikTok and Instagram, KYNGRALPH. Make sure you check out Kai Instagram already in the name on the screen.
At
Thank you all for
House of
watching.
Hoops.
Right. Thanks for watching.